The Warring States period has ended, the Qin dynasty rules all under heaven, and a single nomadic threat looms over the young empire, the Xiongnu. For years, these horse-riding warriors raided Qin borders, burned villages, stole crops, and killed civilians, leaving the northern frontier in a constant state of terror. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor, knew that unifying China was only half the battle. Securing its borders would define the empire's survival. The man he chose to lead this impossible mission was not just a soldier, but a military strategist, a master engineer, and a loyal servant, whose name would be etched into China's soul forever, Meng Tian. Today, we dive into the life triumphs and tragic fall of the Qin general, who built the Great Wall, defeated the Xiongnu, and became a casualty of the darkest political betrayal in Qin history. This is not folklore. Every detail comes from records of the Grand Historian, by Meng Tian, the most authoritative source on ancient Chinese history. Meng Tian was born into a family of military elite. His grandfather, Meng Ao, left the state of Qi to serve King Xiong of Qin, rising to the rank of Shangqing, one of the highest court positions. His father, Meng Wu, fought alongside the legendary general Wang Jian to conquer the state of Chu, completing one of Qin's most critical victories in the unification wars. Meng Tian grew up surrounded by military strategy, statecraft, and unwavering loyalty to the Qin throne. Unlike many noble-born generals, he did not start his career on the battlefield. Early in life, he studied law and worked as a legal clerk, mastering administrative skills that would later make him uniquely qualified to lead massive construction projects and manage an army of 300,000 men. This combination of military prowess and administrative genius set him apart from every other general in the Qin Empire. In 221 BC, Qin Shi Huang ordered the final conquest of Qi, the last remaining independent state. Meng Tian was given command of a Qin army, and he marched into Qi with brutal efficiency, defeating the Qi forces and ending centuries of division. For this victory, he was appointed Neishi, the highest administrative official of the Qing capital, Xianyang, a position that put him in the emperor's inner circle. His younger brother, Meng Yi, also became a trusted advisor to Qin Shi Huang, often accompanying the emperor in his chariot and advising on state affairs. The Meng brothers were known as the loyal and trusted duo, and no other general or official dared to challenge their influence. For the first time in his life, Meng Tian was at the peak of power, but his greatest challenges lay far north beyond the Qin heartland. By 215 BC, the Xiongnu threat had become unbearable. The nomadic tribes controlled the Hetao Plain, a fertile region along the Yellow River known as Henondi, a land of grasslands, salt reserves, and strategic military value. This area was not just a piece of land, it was the gateway to northern China. If the Xiongnu held it, they could strike deep into Qin territory at any time. Qin Shi Huang issued an imperial edict. Meng Tian would lead 300,000 elite Qin troops north to expel the Xiongnu, reclaim the Hetao Plain, and secure the border forever. This was not a small raid. It was a full-scale imperial campaign that would test Qin's military might to its limits. Meng Tian's campaign against the Xiongnu was a masterpiece of ancient warfare. He organized his troops into disciplined infantry and cavalry units, using Qin's advanced bronze weapons, crossbows, and military formations that had crushed 6 states. The Xiongnu, skilled in hit-and-run cavalry tactics, were no match for Qin's organized, well-supplied army. Meng Tian drove the Xiongnu leader, Tu Man, and his forces more than 700 li north deep into the Mongolian plateau, away from the Yellow River basin. The Xiongnu did not dare to set up camps near the Yin Mountains for decades, and Qin records boast that the Hu did not dare to ride south to graze their horses, and their warriors did not dare to bend their bows to seek revenge. This victory was not just a military win, it was a psychological defeat for the Xiongnu, and it gave Qin complete control over the northern frontier, but Meng Tian knew that winning a war was easier than keeping the peace. To lock in his victory, he launched 2 of the most ambitious engineering projects in human history, the Great Wall and the Qin Strait Road. Most people believe Meng Tian built the Great Wall from scratch, but historical facts tell a different story. During the Warring States period, Qinzhao and Yan had each built separate defensive walls along their northern borders to stop nomadic raids. Meng Tian's genius was not starting over, it was connecting, repairing, and expanding these scattered walls into a single, unbroken defensive system that stretched over 10,000 li. He built the wall to follow the natural terrain, using mountains, rivers, and cliffs as natural barriers, and constructed watchtowers, fortresses, and barracks every few li to house soldiers, store supplies, and send smoke signals in case of attack. The wall started in Lintao in the west and ended in Liaodong in the east, forming an impenetrable shield that protected Qin's northern borders for generations. At the same time, Meng Tian supervised the construction of the Qin Strait Road, a military highway that ran from Yunyang, near Xianyang, to Juyuan, in the north, covering nearly 1,800 li. This road was not a simple dirt path. It was a flat, wide highway designed to move troops, weapons, and supplies from the capital to the frontier in just a few days. In an era without cars or trains, this road was a logistical miracle that allowed Qin to respond to any border threat at lightning speed. Meng Tian spent more than 10 years living in the frontier camps, sleeping in simple tents, eating with his soldiers, and overseeing every part of these projects. He did not live a life of luxury. He lived a life of duty, enduring harsh winters, scorching summers, and constant danger to protect his emperor and his empire. During these years, Meng Tian was not alone. Crown Prince Fusu, the first emperor's eldest son and heir apparent, had angered Qin Shi Huang by criticizing his harsh policies, including the burning of books and burying of scholars. The emperor sent Fusu to the northern frontier to supervise Meng Tian's army as a form of punishment. Instead of resentment, the two men formed a deep bond of loyalty and friendship. Fusu was kind, wise, and popular among the people and the military. Meng Tian was a disciplined, respected general who commanded the full loyalty of 300,000 troops. Together, they represented the future of the Qin dynasty, a future of stability, moderation, and continuity. But this future would be destroyed by a conspiracy born in the shadows of the imperial court. In 210 BC, Qin Shi Huang fell ill during a tour of eastern China and died in Xiongnu. Before his death, he wrote a secret edict ordering Fusu to return to Xianyang to take the throne and hand over military command to Meng Tian. This edict was sealed and given to Zhao Gao, a corrupt eunuch, who served as the emperor's chief secretary. Zhao Gao feared Fusu and Meng Tian. If Fusu became emperor, he would remove Zhao Gao from power and end his corruption. So Zhao Gao conspired with Li Si, the prime minister, and Hu Hai, the emperor's youngest and weakest son, to hide the first emperor's death forge, a new edict, and put Hu Hai on the throne. The forged edict accused Fusu and Meng Tian of treason and ordered them to commit suicide. When the messenger arrived at the northern camp, Fusu was heartbroken and ready to obey. Meng Tian begged him to hesitate to question the edict, to confirm the truth with the emperor. He told Fusu, "I lead 300,000 troops on the frontier, and I have guarded this land for over a decade. I have no reason to rebel. This edict must be a fake," but Fusu was a man of principle, and he believed he could not disobey his father's order. He took his sword and killed himself. Meng Tian refused to commit suicide immediately, insisting on a full investigation. The conspirators could not risk letting him speak. He knew too much, and he controlled the most powerful army in the empire. They arrested him, imprisoned him in Yangzhou, and eventually forced him to drink poison. Before he died, Meng Tian looked at the great wall he had built and said, "I have cut off the earth's veins by building this wall. That is my crime against heaven." It was not a confession of guilt, but a tragic reflection of a loyal man destroyed by political evil. Meng Tian's death marked the beginning of the end for the Qin dynasty. Without his military leadership and the loyalty of the northern army, the empire quickly descended into chaos. Uprisings broke out across the land, and the Qin dynasty collapsed just 3 years after Hu Hai took the throne. The Great Wall Meng Tian built survived, becoming a symbol of China's strength, resilience, and unity. The Qin Strait Road remained a vital route for centuries. Meng Tian's legacy is not just stone and earth, it is the story of a man who turned an empire's greatest threat into its greatest defense, who served his emperor with unwavering loyalty, and who paid the ultimate price for a crime he never committed. He was more than a general. He was the architect of China's northern security, a hero whose name will live as long as the Great Wall stands. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient China, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more epic history. See you next time.